Start to record. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Citizen FX First Community webinar. And today's webinar, we are going to look into market structure and also spotting a change in the direction of a trend or the beginning of a retracement or a correction, move. As I've been saying previously, the market moves in waves actually. And before you can really, you know, make good use of your entry strategy that you've been taught in wherever you were taught from, you really have to understand the waves at which markets moves. And I keep telling people that the market moves in such fashion whenever we are in an uptrend. This is how the market moves whenever we are in an uptrend. And for you to take advantage of the knowledge you've been taught with regards to entry strategy, all that you have to do is to make sure that you align yourself with the flow of the markets, which will make you utilize your entry strategy. You understand? And so when we are in an uptrend, there is no need for you to be selling at this point, this particular point, or be selling at this particular point. Of course, it can make you some reasonable, but it is highly not advisable. So, your duty as a trader is to first al- to identify the flow of the market. After identifying the flow of the market, then you scale in to the lower time frame and take advantage of your entry strategy. And so, the mistakes a lot of people do in their trading career is that whenever in such scenario the market is in an uptrend, they probably wait. They want to be trading, back and forth. They want to be trading this point, be trading that point as well, be trading this point, be trading that point as well, this point and that point as well. You understand? So whenever we are able to define the flow of the market from the higher time frame perspective, we scale down to the lower time frame, take our entry, and we are good to go. There is no need for us to be trading back and forth because you don't really know when the market is going to reverse on you. That not being said, whenever we are in an uptrend like this, it is very easy for us to draw a trend. Yes. And once this trend has been drew, then we will be able to take entries in line with the trend by taking entries from this region, that region, and our take profits will be around this region. Are you with me?
With you.
Okay, so the point is that today we are going to look into market structure. The market has the market has three forms, which is the uptrend, the downtrend, which is in such fashion,
Big man.
which is in such fashion. Yes. And the market can also range sometimes. For me, what I really advise people to trade, or I call a market which is safe to trade, is either this market or that market. And so, those of you who are fond of seeing my analysis, I'm always trading, a flowing market that you can identify its flow, like this market or that market. When I see a market like this, I don't bother to trade this market. Regardless of this, also whenever we are in an uptrend, I think the things we have to take notice of is how price reacts to our zones. how price reacts to these zones whenever we are in an uptrend. How price reacts in these zones. And whenever we are in a downtrend, we should take note of how price as well reacts in these zones. That notwithstanding, all these zones are useful because when the market is about to change its direction, it's the zones that is going to prompt you. So, for example, whenever we are in an uptrend, since I've been saying day in, day out, we should be in line with the flow of the market. Whenever we are in an uptrend, anytime we see something of this sort happens, anytime we see something of this sort happen, then we can clearly see that there is market structure break because our zone, which we were expecting price to hold and go above, has been violated. And therefore, a higher low has been created over here. A higher low has been created over here. And so we have to wait and see how price reacts to this market. So we wait and see if price will do something of this, come and retest this zone and create a higher low. Is this, yes, and create something like this, which is a higher low, yes, and we try to take entry from this point. And one thing we are going to notice is that whenever price is about to reverse in such a zone, you normally see, a pressure, a selling pressure off around this region. When we go into the live chat, I'll show you what's selling pressure and buying pressure, which is also known as the indecision candlesticks and all that. So since we broke and created another higher low over here, we can clearly see that the market is either retracing or changing direction. Yes. And so people come to me telling me, how do I draw my zones? How do I draw my zones? This is exactly how to draw your zones. And whenever you can't really see a clear, structure breaks or flow of the markets, you go to your lower time frame. For me, I do it on the weekly, monthly, weekly, daily, H4. And if I don't really see the clear breaks in like this, the higher lows, higher highs, the lower lows, lower highs, I go to the H1 time frame to see how price is reacting in these zones. You understand? And so if you can clearly see my setups, you see me drawing a counter trend line, which is for the retracement channel or the corrective channel. You understand? So this move is called the impulsive move, and this will probably be called the correction mode or the induction mode or the retracement mode. You understand? And so for me, if I'm able to identify the flow of the market from the higher time frame that we are in an uptrend and I see this happen, all that I'll do is to wait. Probably you can take safe trades. You can take safe trades if you know what you are doing. That's fine. I'll do wait and see when price will violate and also change the direction to an uptrend. You understand? So with this, I'll be expecting price to do something like this. Let me first clear this. Let me clear this and that's and this. So I'll clearly be waiting for something like this to happen, them to violate this close above here, see, probably a rejection candlesticks or a buy pressure, and I look for entry. I'm not here to teach entry today. So if you can see This is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened on JJ today. It's the same thing that happened on EJ. And this has been the way I have been trading ever since. Of course, I have my way of entering the market, which I'm not here to talk about it today. I'm here to teach market structure and how to spot change in the direction of the market, whether it being the true reversal or it's just a retracement. You understand? Understanding the market in such perspective will make you utilize your entry style you were taught in the lower time frames. Please, if you have any questions so far, you can feel free to ask. Any questions so far? Guys, let the class be interactive.
Everything you said, sir, is clear to me. I'm
It,
okay with it.
it's clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Even me say so far it's clear.
Okay, so any question, are we good with that?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good. I'm good with it.
Okay, so first of all, we identify the flow of the market from the monthly, weekly, daily, H4. And once we are able to define the flow of the of the of the instrument, then we draw our zones, see where price is reacting to our zones, whether price there is a sell pressure or buy pressure over there, and see how price reacts to these zones. And when there is a break of these zones, and you know for sure that this market is in an uptrend, you either wait for them to correct the flow of the market and you jump in, or I really don't advise trading against the flow. But if you think you are fine doing that, it can give you reasonable pay, but you don't know when it will flip on you. That is the problem. In my trading, career, I was trading back and forth. And it didn't really work for me until I got to understand the markets this way. You understand? So let's go to a scenario where the market is in a downtrend. Okay. So in a downtrend, yes. Oh, this is the fashion the market moves in a downtrend. Oh, pardon my drawings. Okay, so this is how the market moves in a downtrend fashion. Mm, yes. So we've been able to identify the flow of the market. Why is it still eraser? Well, once we're able to identify the flow of the market, we don't know when price will flip or price will change direction or when retracements will start. And so this move from here is the impulsive move. This is the corrective move or retracement move. This is the impulsive move, corrective move, impulsive correction, and impulsive. And once we define the direction of the markets, we want to be trading the impulsive moves, impulsive moves. Because see, let's see something the FIPS will even tell us. What do you see? 50% retracement. And that's we will talk about this later probably in another session. So once we define the direction of the markets, we are only interested in taking the impulsive moves. But one thing that will tell us that this is a true impulsive move and this is the market is not going to change. It's our zones, which we will draw such and see how price reacts to them. To them, you know, we see price retesting these zones and price shifting back down. You know, yes, this is how we see it. So anytime we see something of this thing happen, they break above and do something of this and do this. The market has created uh, a higher high over here. And once they break it to form another higher high, we know that the market is changing direction. Also, this is a higher low. This is a higher low. This is a higher low. And this is a lower low. So once markets break this lower low, retest it, create a higher high, come and break the higher high and form another higher high, we know that the market is changing direction or probably retracing or giving us a corrective structure. Yes. And so we draw our zones, our trend line, and zones as well. Our zones as well, and see how price reacts. And once we've been able to identify the flow of the market, knowing this is an induction, we will wait and see something of this sort happen. Then let me draw the zone over here. Oh, okay, let me draw a zone over here. Yes. So once this happen, then we know that price is actually shifting back to the corrective direction of the trend. And this is where we look for an entry. You understand? And so we've looked at the higher time frame, the uptrend scenario, and we've looked also at the downtrend scenario. This being said, let's go straight into the charts and see live examples. Delete everything. Boom, boom, boom. Please try and mute yourself so that we can all hear me clearly and also have fun. Okay, so this is J pound yen. I mean, this is pound yen, and from the monthly we can see, you know, the market is really, you know, bearish on the monthly time frame. That being said, we are not position traders and we are not trying to take entries on the monthly time frame. We just want to see the directions and the true nature of this market. So looking at this market, we go to the weekly and see where how market has been playing in our zones in previous times, you know. Yes. So looking at this market, we can clearly see this zone being broken. Yes. We can clearly see this as well. And a very bullish mood from this please as well. Yes. So let's go to our daily time frame. See what structure is also telling us. Okay. On the daily time frame as well, we can see that these highs were violated, taken out. Yes, these highs were taken out. So from here we can clearly see that though the market is in an uptrend on the downtrend on the monthly, but coming down to the weekly and daily, we can really see a very smooth upwards direction of the market from March 2020. And so we take notice of that. Oh, we take notice of that. Yes. Uh, After this session, and I'll send another link onto the Citizen FX channel so we all can join. Okay, so this is what we can see on the daily. We can clearly see this market is in an uptrend, but here from this place going, we can't really see the breaks in the market structure, and so we go to the lower time frame, which is the H4, to see. Okay, so here we can clearly see what the market is doing over here, creating higher highs and retesting them, creating higher highs, retesting them, creating higher highs, retesting them, and boom, going straight up. If you want to see this thing clearly, you can go to the H1. Yes, this is quite clear on the H1. And since we've been able to define the direction, we know that this move, let me go to the H4. I said you go to the H1 just to see the breaks in the structure to be able to define what price action is telling you, or read and interpret price action. Yes, and I don't really go below H1. So we could clearly see this was a correction mode or a retracement, mode when price got there. Because we could clearly see, let me draw the trend line from this point. We know we are in an uptrend and we were expecting them to go up, but before they go up, they have to come down, take much more power, and go up. And what do you see here, guys? What do you see here? This is a buy pressure around this zone. And what is this telling you? This is giving you an idea that the buy pressure around this particular zone is very heavy. That notwithstanding, you wait for your entry. You understand? For me, I want them to break out of the channel and I take my entry. You understand? So I can show you several of the buy pressures. Whenever we are in an uptrend, you see if market truly want to go up, you see these buy pressures around this zone, these particular zones that we will draw. You understand? Because normally 8 out of 10 price will come and retest the zone before they go up. If price had not done this and had done something like this, violated it straight away and come and retest it, then I do know that no, the market is not ready to go back up. You understand? But God being so good, it didn't do that, and He gave us a very good entry, and we took it. And the TP was hit. This is my first target. Once it gets hit, boom, I'm out of the market. You understand? So this is a live, example of what I just showed you with the drawings. If you do your back test, you realize markets keep playing around this zone. You see, this is the buy pressure over here, rejections, and boom, going straight up. We see over here, market was clearly in a range. And whenever market is in a range, guys, look at something. Whenever market is in a range, just wait and see the breakout of it. Just wait and see when it will actually break out, and see where it will probably come and retest. Just wait. So over here, you can clearly see a range over here. Just leave it. When it break over here, or come back and retest. If you break upside, you come and retest. Boom, or go. Or your FTR or whatever entry style. Just wait for them to break out. Don't be in a rush to take a trade. You understand? So follow price action, follow your zones, identify where there is breaks in structure and when market is reversing. You understand? Yes. So we have like 5 minutes. Any question so far? Our next session, which I'm not going to record, will solely be question and answers, and we'll look through some chats and we call it a day. So, any questions so far?
Yeah, I think I have a question. So, the GJ trade you took,
Mm-hmm.
you said you had to wait. You didn't break that. You didn't break the resist that's the resistor that turns support. You didn't break it. So you now thought it's normal. It will keep going up. It won't
Yes,
come down.
yes,
But you said
yes.
if it breaks the structure
Mm-hmm.
and returns, then probably it's not going to come back. So you think it will sell. Maybe the induction might continue
Mm-hmm.
till break of structure.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want, my question is now, as it respected that is okay, it's resistant ton support. So where
Please,
was your
please.
exact entry?
Okay, you mean this zone as a resistant 10 support?
Yes, yes.
Please, this is not a resistant 10 support. This is a zone.
The zone.
A
Okay.
zone I drew from this highs. This highs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not a resistance for me. It's just a resistance. It's like a ceiling. I drew this zone after seeing the market get over here. You understand?
Yeah.
The market
Okay.
showing me a higher high. That's why I drew the zone from. This is not a ceiling or a resistance. Probably you can call it resistance, but I didn't draw with a resistant point of view. You understand? I drew it from a higher
Yeah.
high. Market's making a higher high. That's why I drew it from. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I was saying,
Mhm.
like where was your exact entry? Because you said you have to wait kind of for a zone retest before you make an entry after break of the
Yeah.
induction trend.
Yeah. Okay. I have an entry approach that I take, with my AMS on a lower time frame, on the M30, on in the H1. I'm actually not here to talk
Okay.
about entries today. I'll be holding a 3 day boot camp where I'll delve into my entries and 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 and
Okay.
and all that. Today I'm just teaching structure, zones, and how to tell when markets is reversing. So when I saw this pressure, this buying pressure over here, I didn't take my
Yeah.
entry right away. You understand? I waited.
Yeah.
I went to my lower time frame to see a clear, entry, and I
Break.
took it because I knew markets will go up. You knowing market will go up doesn't mean you can jump in and still make profits. You can lose. Market can come back and hit you as stop loss. I hope you agree with me on that.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes, that's why getting an entry is very an entry form is very, very, you
It's
see,
very
getting a
important.
trading setup, you have to get your from higher time frame analysis, lower time frame analysis, entry, take
Okay.
profit and stop loss. That should form a trading plan or a trading
Okay.
setup. You understand? Okay, see, look at the structure over here. We can also see market started making what? A lower highs over here. Market
Lower
started
highs.
making
Yeah.
lower highs. What did market do over here? Market respected this lower highs.
So that yeah. Yeah.
It didn't really break it. They came to take liquidity,
Exactly.
came right up
Yeah.
here over here. So I took my entry around here because
Okay.
this is the buy pressure around this zone. I took my entry over here. My stop loss was here, and boom,
Okay.
price hits me up over here. Okay, we'll have
Wow.
1 minute. I'll send another session.
Hello, boss. Before you go, how do you identify these buyers pressure and sellers pressure? I think
It's
it's one of
just
the key for your entry.
it's just the indecision candlesticks. Indecision
Hmm.
candlesticks.
Can
That
you
will
show
tell.
us more in the next session?
Well, it's not really part of the agenda today, but I'll go into it in the next session. Okay. But this is
Is it?
actually going to my YouTube. Thank you very much for showing
Thank
up.
you, sir. Waiting for the next link.
All right. Stop sharing. End meeting.